Welcome back to the Stephen A. Show. Adam, how's the weather in DC?
Well, first of all, the weather sucks today. We are
Really?
in the 50s. It's like back to kind of early or like early spring or late
Yeah.
winter. I am not loving this cold weather, but I did get to check out the baseball game this weekend, the Nats game. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm not a big sports person. That's why I do the movie reviews, not the sports reviews.
Right.
But we did get to check out the game, and the game had a special prize. They do these things, they give you bobbleheads, things like that. But today, that game actually had the championship ring,
Oh,
the World Series replica
wow.
World Series wing. Look at this. Now, I'm not much for jewelry. Like, I got my wedding ring, and that's pretty much it. But you know
Yeah.
what? I was wearing this around on Saturday during the game. I could get used to this.
Yeah.
I can see
That is
why
right.
people wear the giant rings that are full of bling.
Is it
And
a
now,
real
granted,
ring?
it's real metal. It's a replica ring, though. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll turn my finger green here, but this is a lifestyle I can get used to, and
I
so
like it.
yeah, the Nats won, so congrats. It was 5 years since they won the World Series, so this is kind
Mm.
of like a kind of celebration
Okay.
event. But weather was great that day. Rest of the weekend, oof, I'm ready for summer.
And you got your ring, so
I
hey.
got the ring.
Well, I'll let you two take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I got to check out the latest Amazon Prime TV series that people have been talking about. It's been out for a couple weeks now, Fallout. And for anyone unfamiliar with the series, it is based on a video game series of the same name, and it takes place about 200 years after a nuclear war. So the whole theme of the games and the movie is that they were preparing for the war in the 50s, and so it has a lot of that 50s aesthetic. And then nuclear war came, and a lot of people decided to move to these fallout shelters called vaults. And people have lived there for hundreds of years and things like that. And our main character in the series has an incident in her vault where they're attacked by people from above the ground, and the people take her father. So she starts her mission on trying to leave the vault and find her father. And when she leaves the vault, she discovers that the world is not empty. It is a wasteland. There's a lot of people scavenging, and there's all kinds of characters. But now she's going on a journey along the way. In addition to that, we're following a few other storylines. So there's a guy who works for what they call the Brotherhood of Steel, and these people in these giant metal armor that are looking for artifacts. And then there's a ghoul, which is someone who kind of not quite became a zombie, but they've been infected with so much radiation that they're in inhuman, and yet they can talk and interact with people as well. So there's three main stories going on here, but it's really giving you a taste of that world of the games. It's got a lot of fun to it. It's got campy moments sometimes. It's really I think it's a joy to watch. It's done by Jonathan Nolan, who, if you remember, was from Westworld fame, and this is kind of, I guess, the next series he's working on and focusing on. But for me, it's a blast. It's 8 episodes. You can watch them all right now. If you're into that kind of sci-fi, fun, campy-ish stuff, or if you're a fan of the games, you're gonna love this series. So, highly recommend if you're looking for kind of a fun watch.
Cool.
And that's all I got a chance to watch over the past week or so.
And when did that start?
That started 2 weeks ago, so I think Friday the 12th is when it started,
Okay.
and so I think again they released every episode at once, so now you can kind of watch it.
Okay. So I saw the film Napoleon, which is streaming on Apple. Is it Apple? Yeah, Apple
Mhm.
Plus. And it's a Ridley Scott film. Of course, Ridley Scott does excellent work, always has. Stars Joaquin Phoenix, Rupert Everett, and Vanessa Kirby. And the story just basically follows the rise of Napoleon and how he reached, you know, emperor status. It was pretty dynamic. Of course, Joaquin Phoenix, he never fails. He does an excellent job. But I learned some things, especially about the love affair between him and Josephine. They were toxic, like toxic, toxic. Like they should never have been together. That's how bad it was. But they were the love of each other's lives. Uh, you know, just the abuse and how life was back then. They would be arguing and fighting, but he would be at war and they would be writing letters to each other. So it's not like he sent her a text or he called her on the phone. He would have to send letter and it would take time to get there. And time passes and you have this anger. It was just crazy. And his greed and his insatiable need for the attention and to conquer things, which was ultimately the thing that done him in the end. So it was a really good movie. Definitely check it out. If you are a history buff, I think you will like it. Um, Great cinematography, great costuming, all that stuff. I don't think it fanned well with awards or anything, but it was a solid movie. I enjoyed it.
Did you see the? I know he was releasing. He was supposed to release like a 4-hour director's cut. Was that what you watched, or did you watch just like the 2.5?
The 2.5.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I would have to really, really be locked and loaded to sit in for the 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I saw from the two, I don't necessarily need to see the four. Like I'm not interested in more, but that was
Mm-hmm.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I saw another film. It's a new release. It's on Shudder. It's called Late Night with the Devil. It stars David Dasmalchian, Laura Gordon, and Ian Bliss. So basically, this is about a talk show host, a fledgling talk show host, who is being beat out by Johnny Carson by at least like 10 points on the Nielsen scale for television. And he wants to catch up and he's trying to do all this dynamic programming so he can get the ratings. And so he has, oh, I'm trying to get her title. She is a parapsycho parapsychologist and she studies people who have been possessed. She studies people who are borderline insane slash possessed. And he basically wanted her to come on his show to summon uh, one of the demons inside of one of her patients. And of course, it happens, and this is Halloween night. It's on the late night show, and all hell breaks out in the show because they didn't let a demon loose. If
Mhm.
you play around with certain things, don't play around with things. And they played around with it, and the demon got loose, and it was pretty good. It was intense, um, more psychological than literal, but it was pretty good. And that's pretty much it. Of course, X-Men '97 still hot. Adam, have you been watching?
No, I know. I've heard great things, great reviews. I am
Oh,
gonna sit down and
so so so
not
so.
power through them and go through them. I know everyone's been
Yeah.
saying it's like finally Disney Plus gets a cartoon that's like worth watching.
The good thing about it is that they have 2 seasons locked in already. What they're going to do with the third, I don't know, because the main writer and producer, showrunner has been fired. So hopefully they can improve upon or keep the pace of.
Hmm.
Hey man,
Steven.
I didn't really see anything. Well, I did see a movie over the
Oh
weekend.
gosh,
I've never seen the movie Mean Girls, and I saw it this
the
weekend.
first one, the one from
Yes,
2004.
first one.
How'd
But
you like it?
can I tell you my favorite scene from that movie? It's the very beginning when Lindsay Lohan's character goes to school for the first day she's in class, and the principal comes in and he's talking to the teacher, and he says, "Well, I was here to let you know that we have a new student from Africa." And Tina Fey turns to the black girl and says, "Welcome," and she said, "I'm from Michigan."
Yeah, yes, that show, that
Boy,
movie,
my favorite scene. I was crying.
spot on writing, right? Like that was a great movie.
I was crying. I said, "Welcome." She said, "I'm from Michigan."
I started watching the show Ripley on Netflix. That's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
is.
need to
Okay,
find something to watch. I haven't watched anything really.
Abbott Elementary's back finally after
Yes.
their
Yes,
long
yes.
spring break. It's kind of they had a vacation like Chike over there. Like I didn't
Right.
know if they ever coming back.
She's coming back to the school. She's coming back to
Yeah,
the school. Yeah, yeah.
so that's
That's
exciting.
going to be awesome.
And 911 with Angela Bassett, that show is really good. They have a new home now. They were on Fox and they're on ABC now, one of them. But anyway, but it's really good. It's a good season. One of the characters, Buck, I think his name. He came, well, I don't know if he came out as gay, but he fell in love with this guy. But he's been a womanizer like the whole time. But apparently his character, a lot of fans are getting sending hate mail, and he called him homophobic.
Oh wow.
But yeah, anyway. But it's a good show, still a good show. I think this is supposed to be the last season. The last season of the show, but it's a really good show still. Anything coming out of the pipeline?
Yeah, so the big one for me right now is this movie called Breathe. And I saw the trailer recently, but it stars Jennifer Hudson, Mila Jovovich, and a few other big name actors. And it's kind of keeping with this kind of post-apocalyptic theme, it feels like. But it takes place in a world where the world's out of oxygen. And so people have to go out in masks and these big suits, or not that big of suits, but suits to kind of do things. And what happens is Jennifer Hudson and her daughters, the father goes out and he goes missing, and then these people show up saying they know it's their father, and wants to get into the building. And so it kind of creates that like thriller tension set in this kind of world of, again, everyone has to wear a mask, there's low oxygen, a very post-apocalyptic feeling
Yeah.
movie. But yeah, it looks like an exciting movie. It looks like it'll be fun, and it's something different. I think we've gotten a lot of the kind of the same of stuff lately, so it feels just like a little bit of a fresh. I know we've seen enough post-apocalyptic things, but this one feels fresh enough.
In this day and age, I'm scared of movies like that because it seems like it could really happen.
That's true.
Chike, what about you? Anything coming down?
So for that very reason, I was thinking about Civil War, but I don't know if I really want to see that. I'm curious, but I don't know if I really want to see that.
Yeah, Steve and I said we both passed. I don't need to see something that may
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
I've heard Civil War. It's a little bit. It's not getting bad reviews. It's getting mixed expectations, and we
Mhm.
talk about this from time to time. But some people were expecting more of like a action thriller movie, and this is like it follows a war journalist, a photojournalist or something, as they're like trying to race across the country. So I think it's a little more dramatic and a little less like action packed than
Mhm.
some people were expecting. Said they were leaving the theater saying, "Oh, I was expecting like just a full big blowing up everything movie," and this is not what it was.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you as always. Letting us know what to spend our time and money on and whatnot. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week, next Monday. Right back after this.